We think we know how the world works, but we have all only experienced a tiny sliver of it. Hello, welcome back to the podcast. Today we're talking about the psychology of money. So this is a very interesting book. It's very, I don't know if I morbid is the right word or very realistic, where I know my beliefs are affirmations and believing in God and like abundance, but his is very different, which is good to have that kind of grounded feeling sometimes. So a lot of the beginning is don't judge others. Like I said at the beginning, we have only experienced a small sliver of earth and how the world works, and we're all still trying to learn. And then he talks about luck and risk. And he wrote in his book, Bill Gates once said, success is a lousy teacher. It seduces people into thinking they can't lose. And he says failure can be a lousy teacher because it seduces smart people into thinking their decisions were terrible, when sometimes they reflect the unforgiving realities of risk. I'll have something you'll never have. Enough. Meaning that we are always striving for more, which is fine. We're always allowed to have goals and ambitions, but also being content in where you are. You don't need tremendous force to create tremendous results. If something compounds, a small starting base can lead to something extraordinary. So extraordinary. It seems to define logic. And he says Warren Buffett has been a great investor for three-quarters of a century. He became seriously investing when he was 10 years old, and when he was 30, he had a net worth of $1 million, or 9.3 adjusted for inflation. His skill is investing, but his secret is time. And so he does talk about Warren Buffett and his success story a lot in the book, which is really wonderful. Getting money is one thing, but keeping it is another. We can't assume that yesterday's success translates into tomorrow's good fortune. And I feel like in this day and age, we see people getting rich, maybe 20, 19 years old, maybe even minors, getting to millions of dollars with social media, and we tend to compare ourselves with that. And I really loved when he said a quote from Warren Buffett: Charlie and I always knew we were going to be incredibly wealthy. We were not in a hurry to get wealthy. We knew it would happen. Rick was just smart as us, but he was in a hurry. And so I think that that's something I had to realize this year as well. I was so in a hurry. Like, I want to pay off my grandma's house. I want to do all these things. I want to help my family. I want to, live in the house that I want to live in, like, even for selfish reasons, of course. But realizing, like, I'm only in my 20s and I have so much life to live. What's the hurry? Like, I can enjoy life. I make a good living from engineering. It's not like I live a bad life. And I feel like the chase is only from comparing myself and being like, oh, why don't I have that yet? Why don't I have that yet? But it's completely fine. Like, I live a good life. I am very comfortable. There is no rush. Just enjoy life. I'll be able to stick around long enough for compounding to work wonders. Planning is important, but the most important part of every plan is to plan on the plan not going according to plan. What's the saying? You plan, God laughs. So, yes, of course, I do believe things happen that maybe you aren't prepared for, that you have a plan and then God redirects you. But again, life is not set in stone. It's a flow, it's fluid, it's meant to be fun and relaxed. So you don't have to put so much pressure on yourself. If that doesn't work out, there's something better for you. Happiness of people couldn't be measured by income amount. To have control over your time makes people the happiest. And that's something I really realized. I love being an engineer, but how much more would I enjoy life if I was able to make my own schedule? And that's basically the reason I post on YouTube. Maybe in 10 years, what will I be, like in my 30s? I will be able to maybe live on my own and I don't have to make as much money as I'm making now. I can just enjoy life and just do what I want with my time, which is what makes people really happy. And the most lenient job I had was an exotic dancer from when I was in college. And with that job, I literally could take off 2 months if I wanted to. I never was required to go in. I was my own, I think private contractor is what it's called. And I would go in when I wanted to work and I would take off when I wanted to. And having that flexibility, of course, with the cash flow was something I remember just really, really enjoying. I never worried about anything. I would take off if I had exams, if I wanted to go see my family. Like, having that ability to make your own schedule is something that is such a blessing, because the one thing we have that's definitely limited is time. You can have the best job and make all the money in the world, but if you don't have the time to enjoy it with your family, to go see your son's baseball game or to do something, then what's the point? In the book, 30 Lessons for Living, there was interviews of 1,000 elderly Americans looking for the most important lessons they learned from decades of life experience. No one, not a single person out of the thousand, said to be happy, you should try to work as hard as you can to make money to buy things that you want. No one said it was important to be as wealthy as the people around you. No one said you should choose your work based on your future desire earning power. What they did value was quality friendships, being part of something that was bigger than themselves, and spending quality time with their children. I feel like when we're so young, those are the things that matter, like getting rich and having the nicest bags and all of these things. And that's really wonderful. But at the end of the day, I had spent time with my family this weekend, and it was the longest I had spent time with them in a very long time. Sorry, I don't know, I'm trying to tear up right now, but I was so happy. It's not like we did anything crazy. We just hung out. I got to spend the night there and just enjoying their time. Like I think it's really interesting, like the DNA, like how there's literally nobody in this world who ever was or ever will be just like myself or my family or my the people I love. And they're so unique and they're so valuable to me. And I just spending time with them can just bring me the happiest of joy. And like my family doesn't live in like a really expensive house or even like a good area, you know, but like just spending the time together and enjoying and laughing makes me the happiest. Humility, kindness, and empathy will bring you more respect than a horsepower ever will. Wealth is what you don't see. Things that have never happened before happen all the time. Make room for error. No risk that can wipe you out is ever worth taking. Save even if you don't have anything to save for. Compounding works best when you can give a plan years or decades to grow. This is true for not only savings, but for careers and relationships. Endurance is key. Some of the most miserable workers I've ever met are people who stay loyal to a career only because it's the field they picked when deciding on a college major at 18 years old. The odds of picking a job when you're not even old enough to drink that you will still enjoy when you're old enough to qualify for Social Security are low. Accept the reality of change and move on as soon as possible. So I really love that. I have changed my major before engineering so many times. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I feel like I think in Asian countries it's even lower. Like they had to figure out by like 14 years old what they're gonna do for the rest of their life. And it's like you change so much as an adult. Like when I started doing engineering and then I realized that in engineering, I love self-help. I love self-growth. I would love to write a book. I would love to speak, be like a public speaker and stuff like that. Would I be good at it? I don't know, but I would something I really love and would want to help the world and shape the world that way. But how are you going to know until you experience more of life? So when you go to school, don't it doesn't have to be so set in stone. Of course, I'm an engineer and I love my engineering career, but it doesn't mean it has to be my full life. I can be fluid again and like enjoy life and change my path if that's something I want. The result of buying and selling when they should have bought and held. The irony is that trying to avoid the price, investors end up paying double. So yes, I talked about this in my investing episode. Always just buy and hold. I talked about this in the book. You're supposed to have some savings before you start investing, but I was just so excited to start investing that I didn't really put that much savings or didn't have that much savings to begin with before. And now we're like trying to move and stuff, and I'm like, I want to sell just so I can have like the extra income to like pay for a new couch and stuff like that for my new apartment. And my partner's like, don't just hold it, just keep it there. It's completely fine. And I'm like, have to remind myself, like, okay, just like leave it there, buy and hold, do not buy and sell. He does write things down like his goals. He wrote, I am a passive investor, optimistic in the world's ability to generate real economic income growth, and I'm confident that over the next 30 years, that growth will accrue to my investments. Once you write that mission statement down, you realize that everything that is unrelated to it, what the market does this year, or whether it will have a recession next year, is part of the game that I'm not playing, so I don't pay attention to it, and I'm in no danger of being persuaded by it. Optimism is a belief that the odds of a good outcome are in your favor over time, even when there will be setbacks along the way. And people believe bad news over good news. He actually used Japan as an example. People were starving atomic bombs. As someone wrote an article, Japan is going to come back stronger and have some of the most highly technical things in the world and be seen as a beautiful country that everyone loves to visit and also is allies with America. Even though that happened, if someone wrote about that, they would be considered crazy. But no one bats an eye if someone says tomorrow will be World War XVII and Russia is going to take over the US. That has everyone's attention. Expecting things to be great means the best case scenario that feels flat. Pessimism reduces expectations, narrowing the gap between possible outcomes and outcomes you feel great about. Expecting things to be bad is the best way to be pleasantly surprised when they're not. If you're desperate, you believe what you want to believe. I can't tell you what to do with your money. People have vastly different goals and desires. There is no single right answer, just the answer that works for you. And the author talks about how he lives well below his means, and he puts his money into a low-risk investments and into a place for his children's college fund. and that's what works for him. And I'm still personally trying to figure out what works best for me. But I would love to hear if you ever read this book or what your thoughts are. It's very different from a lot of the money books that I have read. It definitely stands out as unique and different. But yes, I hope this is able to help you or someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.